So I just wanted to thank all of you beautiful apostates out there, you cart-crashing heroes out there who've been doing this for a long time, because I've been learning some things from watching your videos, and just the way you keep talking to the camera when you're out there, just filling us in on what's going on, and I learned something so valuable. And if I didn't know it, I'd be nervous about the possibility of having to deal with it myself. Because my whole thing was that I'm only doing this now because I tried to sort of do it reluctantly about a year ago, where I went up to the cart, somebody else was talking to the sister at the cart, and he was freaking out. He was right, but he was freaking out, and I was just so excited that somebody else was causing the disturbance. I kind of was hiding under his thunder to start talking as well. And so I went up to him and I was like, dude, you're so right. And I started talking to him about some of the stuff that we're talking about when we go up to the cart, and the sister took out her cell phone, took our picture, was waving it around like, and said, the police have directed us to report anyone who harasses us to them. Right? And that's the whole thing. I was like, and that was just another level of pissing me off. The who have what? The police have directed you to tell yourself that it's okay to not defend your beliefs and take the picture of people who aren't even talking to you because you don't like the conversation? I mean, I almost got as angry as I've ever been in my entire life when she took our picture when we weren't even talking to her and made that threat. I wish I could have seen the expression on my face after she said that. That would have been worth $1 million to me. We've been directed by the police to take the picture of anybody who harasses us. Wasn't even talking to her. Talking to the other guy. Sharing the points and arguments that I'm making, and she couldn't stand it, and she needed to shut it down, and the police were there to help her do that, period. Thank you very much. And I was like, what is this twilight zone I've walked into? But I've been seeing you guys deal with the same situation on the campuses and on the street corners and in front of the malls and in the parks and everywhere you're doing this kind of work, and you've been talking about this situation exactly, and I can't thank you enough. Because now I know that if they were to call a police officer, if they were to threaten to call a police officer, when there was absolutely no reason, like if they wanted to play like Mexican standoff with me, like with that, like I was in front of those brothers in front of that cart, and that is Robson and Burrard, you guys. That is a busy street corner here in Vancouver. That is the heart of the shopping district. And they set up there, and they have the audacity to behave the way they behaved yesterday. You saw that, Alder, not answering questions, trying to object to the way I was asking him questions, and if you're, I'm not going to get started, but point is that, let's say that had kept going, like where I said, okay, I'm going to ask you one more question. If you answer it, I promise to leave. If you don't, I'm going to stick around. And you heard them say, really? You heard that young brother. I don't know, man. That guy could give, oh man. I was reading some comments about how haughty he was. You didn't even see his face. He was standing there. You see that expression on his face briefly, where he's like looking off in the distance, like he has just arrived, and now he's shining as an illuminator right in the middle of the heart of the shopping district in Vancouver, with all these people who can't, quote, really see walking around him, while he's standing there able to really see. You should have seen his face when he said that. I'm sorry I didn't get it on camera. Anyway, you see a moment of him where I get him on camera, and he's got that disgusting look on his face. He had that look on his face the entire time, except when he decided to interrupt and try to, make it a 2-on-1 situation when he saw an opening to talk to me about free will. Anyway, the guy's a joke. Point is, let's say they had, where I said, answer the question, or I'm going to stick around and keep talking to you. And it had escalated to the point where I wasn't going around, and they were like, Stuart, listen, you need to leave or we're going to call the police. Okay, now I know exactly how to handle that, thanks to what I've learned from you guys. I will be like, please call the police. In fact, that might be the ultimate outcome of this. If you were to call the police, please call the police. And then not say a word after that. Quietly stand there, call their stupid frickin' bluff, let them call the police, have the police officer show up, and when it's my turn to talk to him, because of what I've learned from watching you guys, I will know exactly what to say. I will know exactly what to say. Right? Something like, officer, I used to be in this organization. Things were kept from me. I learned about them anyway, thanks to the internet, thanks to social media, and I am out here drawing attention to the issues. I'm not going to get into the issues. I know you couldn't be bothered to hear what they are. Okay? It is legal for me to film these people. You know they're in a public place. You know they have no consent to give. I can film them. I can post the footage on YouTube. My channel is not monetized. I'm providing a public service just as much as they feel they're providing a public service. You know I have the right to do what I'm doing. I'm not raising my voice. I haven't threatened them. I have a right to stand here all day trying to talk to them if I want. Okay? They called you because they don't want to listen. And I've noticed that people who are doing the kind of work that I'm doing on campuses and in parks and on streets in all over the United States, who are filming it and posting it and doing the same work, who have been doing it for like a couple of years at this point, let me tell you something just to give you some perspective. So the witnesses who don't want to hear what we have to hear, that they need to hear, I'm not going to get into the issues, the witnesses who hear what we have to say, who don't want to hear it and don't want to talk about it and want us to just go away, and we won't go away, they're calling the police. And the police are showing up, and the witnesses are saying this person is harassing us. Well, have they threatened you? No. Have they physically touched you? No. Have they, as far as you can tell, caused a disturbance where they've been upsetting other people? No. Right? That's why we've got to be calm and respectful, maybe even well-dressed to keep it going, so that we make it impossible for them to do that. But let's say they're dumb enough to call the cops anyway. What are the cops going to be asking them? Questions like that. I presume. I don't know. I'm not an expert. But the point is, they won't be able to say, well, actually, officer, yes, they have been, without lying to the cop. So the officer is going to be like, okay, hold on, let me go talk to the witness, and I'll come and talk to you, sir. Have they been harassing you? Have they threatened you? Well, they're like, there's nothing to say. Well, we've asked him to leave, and he won't leave. Well, he has the right to, be here. This is a public place. But we've asked him to leave, and he won't leave. Well, I'm sorry. He's asking you to leave, and you won't leave. So, you're going to have to figure that out. We respond to calls where people have been harassed or threatened. You haven't been harassed or threatened, so I'm sorry. He has the right to do that. Or something like that, where, the cop is like, you know what, just grow up. Let's say he takes our side, and then he comes over to us, and it's his turn to talk to me, to talk to one of us. Thanks to what I've learned watching you guys do this same work, I'm now able to tell the cop, bro, listen, people like me are doing this work all over the place, and they're always calling you guys. And we're always coming back the next day because we haven't broken the law. We have the right to do this, and it's freedom of speech. I'm providing a public service, and that's all there is to it. But every time people like me are doing this, the witnesses are calling the cops, and the cops keep having to show up. And now the cops are telling people like me, would you mind not doing what you're doing, because we're sick of having the Jehovah's Witnesses call us. See that? Right? So it's like the police officer is asking the person that they've come to investigate to please stop doing what they're doing, even though they're not breaking the law, because they're tired of responding to the pussies calling them. That's literally happening in areas where people have been doing this for a while. The cops are coming up to people like me saying, "Would you mind stopping what you're doing? We're tired of responding to their calls." So, like, what's more important, that I be able to exercise my freedoms the way they're able to exercise theirs, or that police not have to respond to calls of people who don't have a clue and who just want to feel powerful and feel like the police are there for them to dominate a situation, or for those people to get a clue and have a reality check that they don't, they're not in control. And quite frankly, you should find out about what these people really believe about the police and what you're serving, and how they're complete and total hypocrites for calling you on me right now. Anyway, so am I free to continue to talk to them? I'm not a dangerous person. I've never been arrested. You don't have to worry about me. Am I free to continue to talk to them? You know what? You are. That'd be cool. That'd be cool, And then the officer goes away and he says to the witnesses, he says to me, "You guys are gonna have to figure it out until he threatens you. It'd be like the parent telling the fighting children who are just screaming 'mommy, daddy' when no one's really been hurt, and the parent just says, you're gonna have to figure it out, guys. You're gonna have to figure out how to get along. You've got the right to be here, Jay Witness. You've got the right to be here too, sir. Sorry." Yeah. I mean, what footage would that be? But more importantly than the footage, what a victory would that be? Because then word would spread. Then they go back to the hall. Then they report to their elders, or if he is an elder, then he's got to admit, well, we tried to call the police. The police showed up. I talked to them. He talked to them. He didn't ask them to go away. The police officer left, and he continued to talk to us. The police came. They saw. They went away. The apostate continued to do what he does. That is a precedent. That is a precedent. And if any of you have done that, and I haven't seen the footage yet, I love you, I adore you, God bless you, holy crap. If one of you have done that, and I haven't seen the footage yet, and I'm sure, actually, that I think about it, one of you probably already have. Down with the Tower, I'm Worldly, Stacy Lopez, Trisha, one of you people, if you've done that, I will kiss your feet if I ever met you. And you can play this back to me and say, "You said you'd kiss my feet." Okay? Because I haven't seen it yet. Okay? This is the 12th or 13th of December. If you've done that prior to me recording this, I will kiss your feet when I see you. You cart crashed. They called the cops. You had a conversation with the cop went away, and you continued your cart crashing, and the witness had to stand there and take it. Did they take it? Did they pack up and leave? I don't know. If the footage is out there and I see it, that's gonna be amazing. Ugh, I got chills. I got goosebumps. And the reason I'm recording like this and not filming myself is because this is first thing in the morning. My brain is fresh and I'm just rambling, but I was thinking about that. Anyway. Yeah. So it might be a day or two before I do that again, but I'm going to meditate on the findings of YouTube before getting out there and doing it again. I've got a bunch of videos from you guys, and please keep them coming in. This is special. This is really special. Okay.